My first guest, Reverend Babington Johnson, is the CEO and founder of Stair-Step Foundation. Their mission is to bring together urban communities and to bring resources to participate in the issues that are important to the communities it serves. Welcome, Reverend Babington Johnson.
I'm delighted to be here, Pete, and congratulations to you and BMA on this extraordinary development, Urban Perspectives.
We're so happy to have you as our inaugural guest. And I want to start out by asking, we recently worked with you as you collaborated with Mensure Health Exchange on an initiative to bring understanding and awareness for health insurance to our communities. How did that initiative start?
Well, it started out of the need. The uninsured in America are part of the difficulty in the rising cost of health care. And so African Americans represent a significant portion of that. And so Mensure wanted to do outreach, and we wanted to engage in a way that showed that as African Americans, our perspective makes a difference. And so we felt that there was a disconnect, a cultural disconnect with financial institutions for African American people. And so our proposal to Mensure for our involvement was to reach out and take that cultural disconnect on directly, as we did with you and others.
Now, the initiative also had a very interesting but helpful platform to bring awareness about the program and how to sign up in using navigators. How important was that to put it together that way?
Well, the underlying issue is, who do you trust? There used to be a TV show of that ilk, Who Do You Trust? Mm-hmm. Well, the point is, if the voice that's speaking to you is a voice that you associated more with used car sales or oppression of your community, that's not a voice that's going to be able to persuade you. So we recognize both institutionally, using the African American church, and then more directly using individuals in those churches to become navigators, to be in-person assisters, was a vital strategy to actually have people cross over and trust enough to enroll.
Now, you had a lot of partners. We traveled around to a lot of different institutions, and I need to know, how did you bring them together, and who were some of them?
Well, let me start by saying you were one of them. BMA and Insight News were very strong partners with us in capturing even the process of things and helping us then share the story going forward. But since 1995, Pete, we've been calling together African American churches because we believe that in terms of community development, we have this sleeping giant, which is the African American church. It has the credibility that is for years past, including the Civil Rights Movement, that if that entity can be drawn out of territorial concerns and brought into kingdom concerns and community concerns, that we as African Americans then have a powerful instrument to tackle any issue that faces us. So we happily thank God for partners in the African American church, COGIC with Bishop Washington, and the Baptist Conference with Pastor Russell, and presiding elder Ref, and Dr. Gill, who is the head of the St. Paul Ministerial Alliance. And these were our partners going forward as well.
Now, will this initiative continue, and if so, how so?
Well, we're excited about the possible continuance. We have at least proposed that we want to reach, Pete, not just African Americans. Now we want to go after what I call the immortals. They call them the invincibles. That's young people from the ages of 18 to 33 who really don't think that they may ever die or need a hospital or whatever, and as a consequence don't get insured. And we have devised a strategy that I think will be quite effective in reaching out to them.
Now, one of the other questions is, there are other programs that Stair-Step Foundation has in place. Talk to us briefly about a few of those.
Let me say quickly, because if I don't, my wife will attack me. We have the Church Olympics coming up the 14th through the 19th of July. Wonderful, our 11th annual. But we're also working on something called the Belief Bowl. We want to take on the educational divide, and we think that we can. We think that this is a time in our community in which we better understand the problem because of the work of Eric Mahmoud in actually defining the 5 gaps, not a blob of a gap. And besides that, the great work that's being done by Harvest Prep and by Greater Friendship Academy using the notion of the growth mindset really has made a difference. So we're going to engage, Pete, in taking that on through the church network with something called the Belief Bowl.
Fantastic. Well, I do know about the upcoming Church Olympics because I've played a part in it, and I would encourage everyone to be a part of that Church Olympic at your church. It's all kind of sports and games, and it brings the community together in a fun way.
Egg and spoon race, Pete. You can win.
That's for me.
I think so.
That's this year, not basketball. Well, thank you so much for being here.